Meta is moving to fully automate the creation and targeting of digital ads using AI by the end of 2026. This is a really big deal because what is it? Something like 97% of Meta's revenue is made up from advertising. And so no small percentage as far as that's concerned. Right now, Meta's tools can recreate new variations of existing ads. This video that's showing on the video version has nothing to do with it.
No, it's Joanna Stern's story from last week. Yeah.
Wonderful story. I absolutely love that. I'm so happy we talked about that. The next phase of these tools is to let brands upload a product image and a budget and then kind of let the AI generate all of the aspects of the ad. So you're talking visuals, your video, your text, selecting your target audience, budget allocations. I mean, you name it. It will also actually personalize ads in real time for people. So different users will get different ads based on individual and immediate factors. So things like location and stuff, which I suppose that's nothing new. Sometimes, the current ad market serves us an ad if we happen to be close to this or close to that. But, you throw those two letters in AI and suddenly everybody gets far more curious and interested. So... yeah,
I'm so glad you're leading with this story because I'm absolutely fascinated by it on a few levels. One is, as we looked at VO last week and the week before from Google.
And will again today.
And the really impressive level of video that it's come up with. The first response is you're not going to make a 3-hour movie with it, but you can certainly make a 30-second commercial with it. Mm-hmm. And what would stop you? Advertising agencies in the creative side for a long time have done storyboards and prototype kinds of ads and all kinds of things. When we started Entertainment Weekly, we had these things they put out as kind of fakey ads to test them. Well, now you can create 100 versions of creative to see what works. You've got no end of A/B testing. It's A through Z testing. Mm-hmm. And the creative cost goes down to nil, practically. The creative possibilities go way up. And that's just the creative side. Right. Then you go to the media side, to the data side, being able to take advantage of personalized data today on Facebook and Meta better than anywhere else this side of Google is a tremendous opportunity, way ahead of big old media. I screamed at them for the last 2 decades that they should be getting their first-party data act together. I still see slides on people's, I just saw this other day, our new first-party data strategy. They never did it, so they don't have the data, but Meta has the data and Google has the data. And so the possibilities for targeting and efficacy are unlimited. And it just really struck me when I saw this story that I think everyone hasn't paid enough attention to AI in advertising. I think this is where it's going to, just like the internet, I'm talking live before your very eyes right now, but in a sense, the internet first hit the music industry as the snowball turned into the avalanche. It was music that was affected first. I think in this case, AI's real impact, I'm just saying this out loud, is going to be most on advertising first as an industry. Other fields, science and other things, yes. But I think in terms of affecting the way it operates, I think advertising is in for huge change.
And especially when you're talking about generative AI, it's kind of the perfect combination of strengths, right?
Yeah.
It is analysis of who should get what. It's also analysis and evaluation of what's most effective for this person, that person, the community at large. It's generation of creating things that are specific to this person versus that person. And then when you talk about real time, which, I think eventually we get there where AI is so, these processing systems and the power behind it are so powerful that these things happen closer to real time than they are right now. They're far from real time, I think, in a lot of the ways that we're experiencing AI, be it generated video. Obviously, it's not serving frames in real time, but I feel like eventually we get there, long enough timeline. And when you combine all those things, that hyper-personalization, data analysis to know what's effective, and the generative capabilities of these things, you get to this kind of mecca point for advertising where they're like, oh my goodness, if it works, we can give it exactly the right thing to the right person at the right time. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
I hadn't thought about that speed angle. I think you're right. That you finish watching a soccer match and it can do product placement for a given brand right then. It can know the context of what you watch and even create the creative.
Oh my goodness.
On the
Totally.
run. But now here's the paradox to all this. The other story we've talked about frequently on the show that has fascinated me is that advertisers are going to advertise to computers more than to people. No, maybe not more than, but in great measure. So a lot of what we just discussed,
Especially when we're talking about agents and all that.
Exactly.
Is that kind of where you're going? Okay.
Right. So so you're
right.
trying to convince the agent to in turn give it to the person. So creative doesn't matter then, really.
Yeah.
It's all about data analysis and what message are you giving and how are you trying to do that. It's more like the structure of how programmatic advertising works, where when you open a web page, there's an auction that goes on in the background that says, this guy's a hoodie customer. What do you want to give him? And who wants them? How much? Right? And that kind of, back to your point about speed, structure will go on with not only the web, but also with agents. And then, so that changes advertising in an entirely different way, where now it's pure data, no creative, no messaging. It's more about some kind of weird new game of negotiation that nobody's figured out yet.
Right. How is that maneuvered behind the scenes? How are sites or destinations ranked differently? That's actually a conversation that I had with Nick Fox from Google a couple of weeks ago. Talked about how AI search ranks differently from like traditional search and everything. All these things are just going to be completely upended and transformed. Absolutely.
And all of this hits on my favorite subject, the subject that I've devoted my books to, the Gutenberg Parenthesis magazine, soon hot type. And the next book I want to write, which is about the death of mass media. This is the final stake in the heart of mass media. Because the idea that you're going to put an ad somewhere where you're going to talk to 5 million people at once is so old school, so ridiculous, when instead you can be far more targeted, far more effective and efficient in the creative and in the data and in who you're talking to than in old mass media. And so mass media will not be able to compete with this.
So then, well, that sounds kind of dire then. So then what is on the other side of that?
Then I think we have...
What replaces mass media?
Everybody's
like
a podcaster.
Niche media
or
kind of small pockets.
And this is where I go back. Have I done this before? Have I held up this prop before on the show? So this is a very thick book. For those of you on audio, I'll slam it. It's a very thick book.
It shook the camera. It was so heavy.
It did. The American Newspaper Directory of 1900. And in
wow, look at that thing.
It's thick as hell. In 1900, there were 46 daily newspapers in New York City alone, counting Brooklyn.
Wow.
Right? And there were scores of weeklies, monthlies, magazines, and such. Amazing numbers, right? That's the world. And that was after steam-powered presses and after the linotype. So we were starting mass media then. We started to see consolidation. But before that consolidation, we had a world where everyone was a niche in a community. And we're going back to that, I think.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating.
It is.
Yes.
It is. So this advertising story might seem like, oh, it's advertising. I don't care, but I don't like advertising. True, fine. But it's what gives you all this free stuff you get.
It drives everything.
It's going to change immensely.
Love it or hate it, advertising drives everything the way we are used to experiencing it right now.
And I wonder, Jason, too, as we talk about this. So on this show, you folks hear ads when Jason pauses, and then there's an ad in there. I imagine that can change immensely, right? That it can be context sensitive to what we're doing.
You're right.
Right? If I were an investing man, and I'm not, I'm chicken. I'd try to invest in new structures for serving dynamic ads and creative into podcasts and video.
Oh my goodness, you're absolutely right.
Huge.
And, if the person on the other end or the organization on the other end has enough information, enough knowledge about that particular person and their listening habits and all this stuff, to then be able to serve a instantly at the point of download generated ad that sounds like a normal ad but is very specific to, oh man, that's brilliant. And I'm sure, have to imagine someone's working on that right now. Have to imagine this is not
and
the
hey, folks, place
first
them
time
here.
this has ever been
Place
thought.
them here. It's way better to place your AI ads than AI inside.
Hey,
huh?
let's test them.
Yeah.
We'll be your testing ground for
Exactly.
this new type of podcast ad. I guarantee you we're going to
I've got to go look for somebody who knows about this stuff to have on the show, because I think
That would be amazing. That's a really cool conversation.
Yeah.
I would love that. Cool. And if anyone out there has any thoughts on that as well, contact@aiinside.show. Let us know.